Awesome. Welcome to Onslow County today. I'm your host, Lisa Whitman-Grice, and we're ready to check in and talk all about what's going on here at the Albert J. Ellis Airport. We're going to be taking a trip, if you will, talking with our guests from all over the county. Library, animal services, park and rec, emergency services, and of course, we're going to be talking with our airport director, Chris White, about the economic impact of airports, not just here in Onslow County, but statewide. It's time to take off here at the Albert J. Ellis Airport and find out what's going on in your Onslow County.
The captain has turned on the seatbelt sign. Please take your seats.
Welcome back to Onslow County today, and joining us now is OAJ Director Chris White. Chris, thank you so much for welcoming us to the airport today.
Well, thank you for having us.
We're going to take a little bit of a stroll here, check things out. We're going to talk about some big changes here at the airport. We're also going to be talking about some big news that you've gotten. So first things first, Chris, let's give folks an idea, because, you know, when we think about the airport, we think about getting a ticket, leaving on a jet plane, going someplace cool. But the airport impacts so many different levels of our economy here in Onslow County. Give us an idea about how the airport reaches out.
Well, the airport is used by over 350,000 passengers on an annual basis.
That's amazing.
But over 500,000 people visit the airport, and it reaches out not just through the commercial airline service, but if you get freight, you order from Amazon, it may come in via air cargo. We have hundreds of tons of cargo that comes in via air. Also, we have aeromedical operators. So if you need an emergency trip to the ER or one of the trauma centers, we have helicopters based here.
And then, of course, you know, as I drove in this morning, I saw a military aircraft. We cannot forget the impact and the partnership that we have with Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune. Talk a little bit about the military use here.
Well, the airport obviously provides airline traffic or passengers travel through the Marine Corps and through the City Parish program, but also the airport serves as a training base for the Marine Corps, and many of its squadrons over at Marine Corps Air Station New River and up at Cherry Point use the airport for flight training. Over 10,000 operations a year from the Marine Corps use the airport, and so it's a vital asset to the Marine Corps, and they fly out here on a daily basis.
And you know, we kind of see them, you know.
Yes.
My house, where it's situated, is I know when particular flights are coming in, and I'm always thinking, I want to go somewhere. It kind of is that encouraging sound that I want to go on an adventure when I hear that plane fly over the house.
We have passengers traveling all over the world from OAJ, and that is just amazing to see where people are going and how many happy reunions we see out here of people coming home from deployment and so forth.
Yeah, we saw a lady upstairs who was just getting ready to get picked up by her mom, and so, you know, it's wonderful. This is that place where people make connections of all kinds.
Exactly. So not only are we connecting the business community with business travelers and people on leisure travel, because we do support the tourism industry here in Onslow County, but we connect people who live here to their families across the world. Aviation helps the world shrink in that aspect.
It really, this kind of global, in this place is kind of a microcosm of the world, if you will.
It is.
Now, we are also very much an agricultural community. As a matter of fact, where the airport is situated is kind of in the heart of our agricultural heart. So talk about the connection to agriculture and the airport.
Absolutely. Not only do we fight forest fires in Onslow County, and the air bombers come to the airport to load up and drop off and dump their retardant, but they also have crop dusters that feed the forests, feed all the timberlands that are around here, as well as other aerial ag operations. There are aircraft that come and measure the moisture level, and there are also aircraft that search for unexploded ordnances. So there are many different things that aviation ties into throughout our community, many things you wouldn't expect.
So we've got obviously the tourism that we think of kind of top of mind, our military connection. Then we're great for business, having this hub and having this access to the community, agriculture, forestry, and finally the airport really played a really important role several months ago with the hurricane, because when we couldn't get out, the world could get in, but only one way in some cases.
That's correct. We had vital parts to repair the 911 system that were flown in. We had evacuation flights, medical evacuation flights, as well as relief supplies flown in for many, many days and weeks. And the airport was actually only closed for about 2 days. Once the wind died down, we were able to get aircraft in and out. It took a few days to get the airlines operating, but they began in full force. We had to improvise, but it was kind of a very, very positive recovery.
Well, you know, knowing that this resource is here. Now, Chris, you've also had some really big changes over the last few years as you came on board. Then there were plans for development here in the airport. Tell us what we've seen, because I will tell you that I had a recent flight, and as we were waiting for our connection from Charlotte, I heard another passenger say, "You're not going to believe the airport in Jacksonville, how much it's changed." So tell us about those changes.
Well, as we like to say, the airport is Onslow County's front door. So it gives you the first impression when you come to the area. And the airport over the last decade has invested the airport and the county commissioners and the state and the federal government have all invested over $60 million in the facilities here. So everything from sewer to building a new general aviation executive terminal and a new passenger terminal building. And recently in November, we opened up a new air traffic control tower at the airport. So these investments have returned 20-fold to the county and to the state as far as improving the economy.
You know, it really, I mean, as I drove in this morning, seeing the new tower, it's changed your profile. You know, we have kind of this image of what you see when you drive up, and you have a new look.
It's our skyscraper of sorts. The airport is one of the highest natural points in the county, and the new control tower, about a 90-foot tall control tower, is used to control the traffic within about 5 miles of the airport, and to help keep the aircraft more efficient and keep them separated properly. But we've created a whole new campus out here and updated the facilities, many of which were built in the 70s, brought them up to new modern standards, and that's one reason we fared so well in the hurricane.
Well, you know, we talk about all that change in the last 40 plus years, and we've talked about investment, but we also think about the airport as an enterprise fund. You are a standalone. This is not, taxpayers don't go into this project. This is really about how the airport provides for its expansion in
Well, the
many
airport
ways.
operates much like an industrial park.
Right.
We provide a place for other business to do business and to employ people. The airport, based on the most recent economic impact study, supplies jobs to over 2,785 people. So that is the purpose for the airport. The airport being an enterprise fund, we're operationally self-sufficient. Sometimes the commissioners might make an investment in our infrastructure, but operationally we cover our own costs, and we do that through collection of fees. So it's a user fee-based system. Mm-hmm. You use it, you pay for the system. So it's unique in that respect. This airport brings a lot of air service into the community, more so than you might see in other communities of similar size. So we're very fortunate from that perspective. The airport is also an economic driver, and that's really what the airport's about, is being an economic driver. The contribution or the economic impact of the airport is $474 million a year.
Now, we just got those numbers are really fresh, because you've just gotten those from the state that talks about overall how aviation impacts the economy of the state and then how it trickles down and impacts things locally. And that number is astounding to me because that's just Onslow County, $474 million.
Per year.
Per year.
Per year. And the airport also generates a lot of taxes in those business operations. It generates over $15 million a year in state and local taxes, which go to help keep property taxes lower. So this economic impact, now statewide, is $52 billion a year. And it supplies jobs to over 307,000 North Carolina residents. It's about 10% of the state's economy. So just think, in 1903, the Wright brothers, just a few miles away from here, invented flight, essentially, and where that has become.
You know, that whole idea of first in flight, and now I can't even imagine that Orville and Wilbur would have imagined what it would have become.
Absolutely.
Now, when we say that $474 million, and that's the fees that you generate, but it's also the impact overall from commercial to people coming here to visit family, and that kind of
and tourism,
and the whole Doppler kind of effect of that. Now, talk a little bit about how we can use the airport and how we should use the airport, because we're so fortunate to have a beautiful facility like this, and we want to encourage people to utilize it even more and more. About what is our passenger service? Talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to talk about kind of your marketing campaign to get people to fly out of here. So talk a little bit about who flies out first, and then what do we want to see?
Okay. Well, Albert J. Ellis Airport has service by American Airlines and Delta Airlines, and they serve Delta serves Atlanta, and Charlotte serves the Charlotte hub. And from those, you can go to hundreds of different destinations very easily, one simple connection. And we have a number of flights a day to both those destinations. So you can choose based on whatever's convenient to you. But as you mentioned, using the airport, why is it important? Well, the $474 million and the 2,785 jobs is why it's important. But today, unfortunately, a number of people that live in Onslow County choose to fly out of another airport. And I understand sometimes that we don't control the price.
Right.
And we don't control the weather and things like that. So some people may choose to go there, but that number could grow considerably. In fact, 48% of Onslow County residents fly out of another airport. So imagine if we could double that number. It'd be approaching $1 billion in economic impact and close to 5,000 jobs that this airport could support. So we want to continue to grow that.
You know, you use a great adage. We've talked about it certainly in the restaurant business, the whole idea of eat local, know where your food comes from. We're in the airport, right?
Absolutely.
So we gotta have our messaging. So we're gonna wait just a second, but I think it's important to hear, you know, this is what people expect. This is a growing, busy airport, and that's part of the atmosphere. That's part of the atmosphere of the airport.
It is.
Now, when we think about that, what we were talking about, the whole idea of, you know, you want to know where your food comes from, so you eat local. Well, what do we need to do here in Onslow County when we're traveling?
As we say, much like the buy local, fly local. So fly locally, arrive home, fly to and from home. And that's important. So we also talk about the total cost of travel. Sometimes you might look and you might see the ticket somewhere else is a little bit cheaper, but think about your time
Right.
investment, about what it's going to take for you to drive to the other city. Look at your price of parking. We have some of the lowest priced parking. In fact, our 7th day is free when you park out here, to encourage people to use this airport locally, and to keep those dollars locally, reinvest them in our community.
And you know, as we're looking up the convenience, like you mentioned, but also the smoothness of travel. Anytime I've flown out of here, the expediency of your teams, of your staff, of security, of everyone involved, you don't have that same sense of hustle bustle, but you also still, despite the fact that it's a busy airport and a big airport, you still have very much a very welcoming atmosphere. There's no hustle bustle. Everybody's gracious and here to help.
Absolutely, and that's one of those things, the charm of the smaller airports. We never have long lines, and they are very quick at processing passengers in and out. We also want to make sure we have all the amenities that travelers expect. So you've got Wi-Fi, and you have very advanced safety and security systems, as well as public address systems and things like that are very advanced. But also, it keeps that charm that you have in a smaller community here. And many people comment they would prefer to fly out of a smaller airport than the larger airport.
So we only have jokingly say this because everybody loves it. We say this is has a kind of a small town atmosphere, but you have the only escalator in the whole county.
We have two of them.
You have two, up and down.
That's right, and we're very proud of that.
But you know what, that does, again, it lends itself to the fact that no longer are we just a small town airport. This airport reaches the whole world, and you want to make it safe, convenient, accessible, and provide folks, as you said, with those amenities.
We've had over 5 million passengers since the airport opened in 1971, and this airport has a bright future for many more in the future.
There she goes again. Again, making sure that we are safe and secure. Chris, the last thing we want to talk about is the feel of the airport. We've talked certainly about your staff, but as we're here and we're kind of looking up, your design team captured Onslow County so that when people either deplane or are coming here to fly out, it feels, not only is it home, but it feels like home here.
We talk about sense of place. We don't want you to feel like you're in any other airport or every other airport at the same time. We want you to have the amenities and to make wayfinding very intuitive, but also bring into the airport what makes Onslow County unique. For example, the images on the glass up there are of North Topsail Beach. The brick lends itself to the federal architecture on the base, and then you have the tile that looks like sand. So we really tried to capture Onslow County. We've also built this building for the future. It can be expanded as we need it, as demand grows.
Well, we all know that the county's growing, so that we know the demand will be there. Again, Chris, I want you to just reiterate those economic impact figures, and then we can kind of look toward that future. Again, the numbers that you just received, that we've just released, what is that economic impact just in Onslow County of aviation?
Okay, this study performed by NC State showed that the economic contribution of the airport, or economic impact, was $474 million a year. It supports jobs to 2,785 residents with a payroll of over $95 million a year.
That's amazing.
And the taxes generate over $15 million a year to help offset taxes otherwise collected. So those are incredible numbers, and imagine what they could be.
Imagine what they could be. Chris White, thank you. Thank you for opening the airport up for us today, for Onslow County today. And thank you for everything that you've done to encourage people to grow this airport, and the support and expertise that you and your team bring to it. As we close out, remind our viewers one more time what they need to do if they need to take a trip.
Fly local.
Welcome back to Onslow County today, and joining us now is Brian Kelly, Onslow County Fire Marshal. And Brian, you brought a very special guest with you today, and please introduce.
Yeah, this is Josh Height. He's one of our county volunteer firefighters, as well as, and more importantly today, American Red Cross volunteer.
Awesome. Josh, welcome to Onslow County today. We're going to take some time and talk about your program that you have for our community about installing smoke alarms, but we're also going to talk about the need for volunteers to assist with that important project. So the first thing we want to talk about, Brian, is just a little bit about the smoke alarm program itself.
Yeah, so in 2014, we sat down with the American Red Cross and was told about a national grant that they received through FEMA, where we were able to get smoke alarms for our citizens across the county at no cost to them. People say, well, there's got to be a cost. Legitimately, tax dollars, federal tax dollars that we pay go to fund this program through Red Cross. And so since that time, we've installed more than 2,000 alarms in Onslow County, actually more than any county in the state.
Fantastic. So 2,000 alarms, more than anybody in the state. So we're number one.
That's right.
And Josh, talk about the importance of smoke alarms. I mean, we kind of take it for granted that people would have those in their homes, but that's not the case, is it?
No, I look at smoke alarms and smoke detectors as kind of the first step or the first line of defense. And it's not only about the smoke detectors, it's about having an escape plan. something to be put in place to where in the event the smoke detector goes off, you know how to get out of the house. I look at it's more of an insurance policy. Once it goes off, that's just to alert you that there's a problem. So once that problem occurs, you need to take the next step to get out of the house.
And the idea of having a functioning smoke alarm, sometimes we see, things on sitcoms and things where people's smoke detectors go off and they're banging on them and they're pulling them down, and it's seen as an annoyance. But as Josh said, this is the first step in saving our lives in the event of a fire in our home. But you guys can't do this by yourselves. It's not Josh and Brian out at everybody's house installing these 2,000 smoke detectors. It takes a real core of help. So talk about the need for volunteers and what you're looking for.
Sure. So, like you said, the 2000 has been through a variety of different resources. We've had some of our volunteer fire departments who have jumped on board. Some of those are, working to try to get to that level, but they have a huge call volume, so their biggest main focus is response. And we understand that, and we want folks to have that as their main mission. So that's the beauty of this relationship with the Red Cross, is we can take the average citizen who just has a willing heart. We train them from the time they walk in the door. We don't need an electrician. We don't need somebody who thinks that they know everything. I mean, we need somebody who can just come in and do paperwork to help us with this. With this, it's everything from writing down the paperwork to doing the alarm install to doing the public education piece like Josh talked about. So, for us, it's about taking a willing body and putting them in a role. We'll find the right piece. We're the person doing the puzzle. We just need the willing individual to do the work.
So we want folks to volunteer. Josh, you mentioned that not only do you work with the American Red Cross, but you're also volunteer with the fire department. What does it mean to you when you say, I'm a volunteer?
Being a volunteer to me is very important. There's not a lot of people that will take the time to go out and help other people. There's always been a need for that. And unfortunately, there's been a decline in the people that want to volunteer. So the more volunteers we can get out, the better. And it's just self-satisfying when you go into a house and you can leave out of there thinking that, I helped protect this family. So this is it's very important.
And for volunteers who are watching us now, who want to help protect those families, like you said, Josh, how do they volunteer, Brian?
So we encourage them to call our local Red Cross chapter. We'll give that number so it's at the bottom of the screen, so that way people will know how to register and how to go about it. But they're vetted through the Red Cross. They go through that assurance program. But we'll take anybody who can give a weekday. My father-in-law, I brought him on as a volunteer. He goes out and does weekday installs.
Fantastic.
And all the way to somebody who says, I need SAT hours as a teenager. We put them up with a team of other adults so that there is a safe environment for the adults, the parents. We literally have an all-encompassing system.
Now, you also mentioned that your father-in-law goes out during the weekdays, but you guys kind of have also a set day where you go out each month and do these kind of mass installs. Josh, when do you kind of schedule those?
Our big events happen once a month. The first Saturday of every month is when we actually go out as teams and groups to do these installs. And throughout the week, I'll go out and install what we call bed shakers for the people that are hard of hearing.
Right.
So it's an ongoing process, and it has been for a long time. We're trying to get as many smoke detectors in houses all across the county to help drop the numbers of fatalities or smoke inhalation, just making families safe.
Making families safe, absolutely. Now, we're also going to have, as folks are watching this, they're going to say, hey, I might want to volunteer, but I also might need a smoke detector in my home. How do folks apply to get those smoke detectors? How do they get those great volunteers to come to their home?
That's a great question, and we know that a lot of the people that are watching today are in that group because unfortunately, but fortunately for the homes that we've gone in, I say unfortunately because a lot of the homes we go in, they don't have them working, or they're not present at all, or they're not to the standard in which we're going to install them. We're going to encourage folks to allow us to put them in every bedroom, outside of every sleeping area, and at least one on every level. And the great part about it is that they have a 10-year lithium-ion battery, so no change in batteries. We talk about change your clock, change your battery. With these, they're good for 10 years, and that's the lifespan of an alarm. So people say, no, I've got all that. Just like you say, Fire Marshal Kelly, I don't need any more. Well, the question is, how old are your alarms? You go, I don't even know. Call us. We'll come out, we'll check it, and we'll make sure that your home is that much safer. And like Josh said, we'll make sure that we help you develop a plan to make your family as safe safe as possible.
That is a great message. The whole idea is protecting our families, but that we can all work together to help those families. I have to say, my grandmother was one of the recipients of one of the smoke detector installations, and she's very grateful. And I would say with that, Josh, what has been the response that you've heard from other recipients?
It's overwhelming. First, they can't. They have a hard time believing that the alarms are free, and a lot of people, they don't know the process or what they should do in the event of a fire. So we go out and we teach them the importance. The big thing is to have an escape plan to get out of the house. But they are very grateful. A lot of times, you want to sit down and talk and try to get on a personal level and give personal experiences or examples of where these smoke detectors have actually saved lives. I mean, over the years that we've been doing this program, the program has saved over 500 lives across the nation. So that number we want to grow. We don't want somebody to lose their lives just because they have no smoke detectors or smoke detectors that do not function.
Well, that's a perfect way to end our segment. Again, we're going to direct people to the county website so that they can know about volunteering, they can call for more information, and we hope that folks, as Brian said, have a heart for helping.
Yes.
Have a heart for helping and come out and help protect the citizens of Onslow County. Brian Kelly, Josh Height, thank you for what you're doing, and we look forward to talking with you next time.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Onslow County today, and you can see we have a wonderful team joining us here today, a team that represents partnership and community service and community safety. So we would like everybody to introduce themselves and tell them your position, and then we're going to talk about why you've all come together. So we'll start with you, sir.
My name is David Grovedahl. I'm the EMS Division Head at Onslow County Emergency Services.
Wonderful.
I'm Michael Pratt. I'm the Preparedness Coordinator with the Onslow County Public Health.
And finally,
I'm Carmen Trader. I'm a nurse coordinator, trauma nurse coordinator at Naval Hospital Camp Lejeune, and I also help directly stop the bleed efforts in our hospital and community.
wonderful. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about, is this important initiative called Stop the Bleed. And David, the first thing we want to talk about is we do have a team of folks here, and this is all about partnership. Talk with us a little bit about how you all came together.
So the key word, absolutely, Lisa, is partnership. Onslow County Emergency Services and Onslow County Public Health, we got together with Naval Medical Center as our trauma center here in the local area. We take a lot of patients there. They do a fantastic job of care, but we also are very big in prevention, and Stop the Bleed is the program that we have chosen. It's a national program, and it's something that any bystander can do, and so we're promoting it very, very heavily as the partnership.
Very good. Now, Carmen, you mentioned your role as a trauma nurse and as a trainer there at Naval Medical. I would love for you to talk about Stop the Bleed itself. Why is this an important initiative, and really what are we trying to do with that program?
Well, the initiative came by, unfortunately, through a series of tragedies, one of those being Sandy Hook. After people's lives were lost that could have been saved had other people known how to do simple things like apply pressure or even use a tourniquet. After those unfortunate lives were lost there, the government, surgeons, military all came together and just asked the question, what could we do better to prepare our citizens? And what can we do as a hospital? What can EMS do? What can anyone do? So Stop the Bleed came from unfortunate events, but its plan in the future is to try to keep people from dying unnecessarily.
As David said, that idea of preventative.
Yes.
You know, having that knowledge, having the materials available, and having them accessible. And Michael Pratt, that's where you come in, because we want these Stop the Bleed kits accessible. Talk a little bit about the role of public health in that.
No, absolutely, Lisa. So a couple things that we have here is first is our CAT tourniquet, or combat application tourniquet. We have some quick clot gauze. And we also have some regular gauze, of course, gloves, trauma type shears for cutting clothing if need be, and we have an Israeli bandage and also a halo seal in here as well. And you're right, they are all very specialized things, and we've been able to purchase them. One county administration has helped us out and to put them in all the county government facilities, but we also, just because of the strength and success that we've had so far with this collaborative effort, we submitted a grant through North Carolina Public Health Preparedness and Response, and we just received $47,000 specifically for the purchase of these kits to outfit the rest of our county service vehicles and to also go into our county school system as well. So that's going to purchase about 400 kits in total. So they can be found in some very key locations, common with AED boxes that are out there. So right now, any county government facility that you go into, there are Stop the Bleed kits there and available to us.
Very good. You know, we oftentimes think about, you know, Carmen, the idea of first aid. Maybe we have first aid kits at home. Maybe we know the fundamentals, you know, we've all learned staying alive and CPR and the importance of that. But as you said, when we think about trauma incidents and the idea of someone, as we hear on television, bleeding out, I mean, is the term we often frequently hear on television. Talk about how that is a new component in terms of saving lives.
In addition to the simple things that we've learned throughout the years that save lives, such as the Heimlich maneuver, CPR, in addition to those things, unfortunately now there's much more instances of high velocity type of wounds from bullets and those type of things, which cause massive bleeding. And so in addition to simple first aid, we've incorporated bleeding control through the use of tourniquets and through the use of just using gauze and pressure into our system.
Now, Michael, you mentioned that these were in public places, and Carmen is a trauma nurse. Certainly you all work in public health and in emergency medical services. I'm just a citizen who happens to be in a situation where I might be called upon. Talk about the usability, if you will, of these items by someone who's not a trained medical professional.
Oh, absolutely. So the kits are very simple, and the application is actually quite simple as well. The class has even been taught to younger groups, Boy Scout type groups. It's very appropriate even for that age group. The application of a tourniquet to put on an arm, it can be taught to really just about anyone. So when we've already trained more than 2,500 people within the county at this point. So all county employees have been trained on how to use these kits. So as that number grows, the availability of a trained person within the county is more and more likely within your vicinity.
Now, David, I want to talk to you because as a first responder, when you get on scene, if someone has had the opportunity to use this in a civilian capacity, if they've helped someone before you've even gotten there, talk about the difference that those minutes and seconds make.
So every year in Onslow County, we respond to over 6,000 injury vehicle accidents. We respond to 400 other types of traumatic injuries. So there's a great potential here in Onslow County. And so when we have somebody who is right there in the moment is what we usually talk about. And so it's the person in the moment who is going to save the life. Now the paramedics, we have wonderful equipment, they have great training, they're very, very capable, and they do a fantastic job every day, but it's the person in the moment, and it's that person who's going to be the one to save the life. So that's why this is so important, is because it's the lay person, it's the citizen who's driving down the road and sees that car accident and stops. It's the person in the mall or at Walmart, if an injury occurs, is going to be the person who saves a life. So this is, like Michael said, very, very simple. It's very easy to teach. It takes very little time for us to actually train people, and that is who is going to save the life, and that is really what the point of Stop the Bleed is.
Well, you know, if folks are interested, as you mentioned, scout groups or businesses or other agencies, civic groups, I'm sure are probably very interested in learning this information. To whom do they reach out to and who can they call on to come and do a training and talk to them about Stop the Bleed? Where would be my first stop?
So we would encourage all businesses in Onslow County, if you have 3 or more employees, schedule a class. We can do it over a lunch hour. It takes about 60 minutes to teach the full class from beginning to end. The class is free. We will come to you. You're welcome to come down to the Onslow County Emergency Services Office in Jacksonville Commons, 1180 Commons Drive, and schedule a class. You can also call us. And we have a Facebook page, Onslow County Emergency Services. You can reach out through the Onslow County Government Facebook page, and we'd be more than happy to set it up. And whenever we teach these classes, we always teach them as a collaborative. So there'll be members of corpsmen from the Navy, from Naval Medical Center, nurses from Naval Medical Center, public health, and some paramedics. So we'll have a really diverse group that will come and teach, and we can teach any size group, 3 all the way up to 50 or more.
All right.
So we would love to teach this anywhere and everywhere in the county.
Well, that is a great point. It's about reaching everybody, reaching out, and then this partnership is making that possible. Carmen, when this first came to your attention, as you've progressed through it, what has this partnership meant to Naval Medical and then working with the team from Onslow County?
Well, Naval Medical Center has only a small audience sometimes. We're kind of isolated on our base, but when we reach out to people like Mr. Pratt and Mr. Grovedahl, we can spread the word throughout our county and beyond. So the fact that we have the partnership with the gentleman here helps the county, because if we were just isolated on our base, we might not be able to have this opportunity to reach out to everyone in the county to offer this free service to you.
Well, with that, I think that this is a perfect time for us to thank you all for what you've done. Thank you for coming together, and thanking you for working to save lives in Onslow County and to make a difference. Again, we're going to have all the information available about how to reach you all. But first stop, go to the county website, go to emergency management there, and then we can take you through the process. Thank you for what you do, and we look forward to talking with you next time.
Thank you, Lisa.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us is Jennifer Montefort from Onslow County Animal Services. And Jennifer, you've brought a special guest with you. Would you please introduce your guest?
I have Miss Lori Hubick, and she is our foster coordinator at the shelter.
You know, Jennifer, when you visit with us so frequently, we're talking about finding that forever home for one of the animals there at Animal Services. But we want to take a little bit of a different turn and talk about your foster program and the need for foster families, and why you all have kind of made this a little bit of a shift as well in offering fostering. And Laura, you're one of the foster families. So Jennifer, let's start with you. How did this kind of originate, and where do you see the need for foster families for Animal Services?
So we have sometimes over 100 animals coming into Animal Services, and to keep our kennels empty. Sometimes we have a lot of special needs animals, whether they're too young to be adopted out, whether they're seniors or have special needs. There's a real need to place them in foster homes until they can be adopted out.
And Laurie, how long have you been one of the foster homes for our Animal Services office?
Well, on and off for a while, about a few years.
Okay, and what attracted you to that? Where did you see this need, and you decided to step in and kind of fill that gap?
Well, it's definitely a way to save more lives. Not all of the animals can do well in a shelter setting. It's hard enough for a healthy adult animal, but if it's a special needs animal or a small young animal, they're going to have a harder time in a shelter. So they're going to do much better in a loving home where they can get more attention, more supervision of what's going on, any medical needs they have. And it's just a great way to make sure that they can get healthy enough and strong enough to be put up for adoption.
Now, Jennifer, when you all are looking for foster families, which are right now, what is the criteria that you're looking at?
So we're looking for a family that can put a short-term commitment, not necessarily a family that has the time to do a a lifetime adoption, but wants to help at the shelter and help our animals. So they have to be able to provide a short-term commitment to that animal, provide a loving home. We do provide all supplies and food, things that are needed, but they're giving a loving home. They have to have their animals at home have to be spayed and neutered, vetted. We do a vet reference check just to make sure that that's going to be the correct home for the animal we're placing with them.
Now, Lori, when you made that decision to foster and you're going through that process, talk about how perhaps you had any additional training or the kind of support that Animal Services gives to you in that capacity.
Well, the animal care staff at Animal Services is very knowledgeable. A lot of them have different experiences. Some have worked in vet offices. Some have spent years in shelters. And so they know a lot of the things that you got to be able to watch for, and especially with the very young animals, how to take care of them, how to feed them properly. So they've been a great resource of how to take care of the animals. Right. And just as Jennifer said, all the supplies are provided. There is no cost to the foster family. So it's really just a matter of if you have the time and a little bit of space in your home, they make it easy for you.
Now, do you foster both dogs and cats, or do you have a preference that you assist with?
Just cats at this time.
Just cats at this time. And so obviously you have a fondness and an appreciation for cats and their awesome little personalities. You mentioned that you've been doing this for several years. Have any idea about how many animals you might have fostered through the years?
No. Dozens.
Dozens.
Not here in Jacksonville, but dozens over the times that I've been a foster, yeah.
And making a difference. Jennifer, talk about the difference at these foster families. You mentioned that it lessens the burden on Animal Services, certainly when you've had a large influx, especially this time of year as we're getting towards springtime. Talk about the relationship that you all have forged with your foster families.
So it provides us the opportunity to get familiar with the behavior of the animal in a home setting, which is really important when we're trying to get them adopted, to get them paired up with the right family. So the shelter environment doesn't always provide what we need to see how they will interact with other pets, with family members, with a large active family, or what their needs are. So foster families provide that information for us.
And I can imagine, as well for the animals who are being adopted, it helps them have some preparation for being in a new home as well. I mean, especially when you're talking about a younger animal who would not be necessarily house trained or things of that nature. You can provide that extra little assistance so that when it comes time for them to find a permanent home, we can say that they've been kind of sensitized to being in a household.
And at least prepare the adopter for what it is they're going to need to do to give this animal a forever home and where they're currently at as far as their abilities to what they can eat and whether they're going outside to go to the bathroom, how they're sleeping, if they're crate trained, all of these types of things that will help the adopter.
Now, Jennifer, if we want to adopt or if we want to foster, like Lori has done, what do we need to do?
Well, anyone who's interested in fostering with us is welcome to come into the shelter and fill out an application to foster. They can also call in if they have any questions, as well as visit our website or email us as well.
Well, as always, we appreciate what you're doing, Lori. Thank you for volunteering and opening your home. We've said that this is our February show, so this is all about love. Thank you for sharing your home and opening your heart and giving love to these foster animals who need a place before they find their forever home. Jennifer, as always, one more time, your telephone number and your website so people know exactly how to get to you.
So our phone number is 910-455-0182. Our website is Onslow County Animal Services. Our Facebook page is Onslow County Animal Services. And then our website is
OnslowCountyNC.gov
/Animal Services. And they can look up our foster program specifically. We have lots of FAQs on there. And Lori, as well as being a foster for us, she also coordinates our program at the shelter. So Lori will be more than happy to help anyone who's looking to foster.
Well, thank you both for everything that you do for our beloved animals here in Onslow County. And Lori, welcome to Onslow County today. I hope we get a chance to visit with you in the future.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us now is Anna Stanley with Onslow County Park and Recreation. But Anna, we've started calling this Onslow County Porch and Recreation.
It's so relaxing.
This is a great place to be here at the airport. You know, when our guests are arriving or waiting for somebody, they've got these great Adirondack rockers. I think we all need these.
I know, you can't help but just
kind of go with it. So Anna, you know, this, as we're sitting here, we've been chatting about, even before we went on camera, how busy you all are. We've just coming off the holiday season, and then you all have not taken a beat, right onto it. And with this being the month of love, you all have several things planned, but first and foremost is a kids' night out. Tell us about it.
So we have our Valentine's Kids Night Out, which is going to be February 8th from 6 to 9. So this is a great opportunity for parents to celebrate Valentine's early. You know, those restaurants are always crowded. Get it in early. Go out for a night on yourself. Spend it at home, whatever, and then drop the kids off with us for lots of fun and games and sweet treats, and they'll make their own snacks, all kinds of stuff.
So this is a Friday night, right?
Yes, Friday night.
So absolutely have a Friday night date night, and take the kids to Park and Rec. You guys are going to do that at the main Onslow Pines site?
Yes, Onslow Pines Park classroom.
Okay, and is there a fee associated with that?
It's $10 per participant.
But that covers all their snacks and all their make and takes and the staff that are there to assist.
Correct.
All right, so first things first, Friday, February 8th, 6 to 9?
6 to 9.
And is there an age group on there? Is there an age limit?
K through 6.
K through 6. All right, and $10 for Kids Night Out and early Valentine's Day.
Yes.
And then on February the 18th, you've got something coming up. Tell us about that.
We do. So we have our teacher workday art camp, and so the local Crafters Guild, they partner with us to bring a true art camp. So and it's going to be the teacher workday. And the theme is spring is around the corner, so they'll be doing lots of spring artwork, metal crafts. I mean, they do all kinds of stuff.
And they are so talented and have such enthusiasm for working with the littles to instill that love of arts and crafts. Again, what's the fee on that?
So the fee is $30 for the day.
And for the whole day?
For the whole day.
And age group?
7 to 13.
And do they need to pack a lunch, or are you guys going to provide lunch?
No, they just bring a lunch and 2 snacks, and definitely wear clothes that they can get dirty, because they, you know, paint, glue, all kinds of, they're going to get dirty.
Just for mess?
Yes, exactly.
Is there glitter?
Oh, probably.
I hope so. There's always has to be glitter. You guys always have. I mean, the folks with the guild are so much fun to work with, and then you guys providing that partnership is super for kids. Then you all offer two really kind of new and interesting programs. One we talked about last year, and this is continued. Tell us about these programs that you all, the Onslow County Park and Recreation, is hosting.
So we host Tinker Garden, which is such a unique program. So it's for kids. They can start learning early about nature and education and the outdoors. And so basically, I mean, it's kind of the Tinker Garden describes they come out and they tinker. I mean, they just play in the nature, and they do all kinds of stuff with nature crafts and so forth, and it's just a unique program.
And how do folks enroll in that program with you all?
So they will just go to our website, and from there it tells them on how to enroll.
Okay, very good. And then the other program you have that you all host, which is about also getting people out and about, is Fit for Mom.
And it's Stroller Strides.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is a new program that we just kicked off last week, and so we're hoping it's going to be an ongoing program, and it's 3 days a week. And and there's just small fee for that, but they can take that and they can do programs around the area, so not just in Onslow Pines Park. But so we have, like I said, we have a partnership with them, and it's for moms, and it's tough to get out with the little ones, and so they have come up with unique ideas and how to exercise with your strollers with your kids, and so that way the kids have fun too. So.
And getting people and having that sense of community. They're building their own sense of community there. Yes. Anna, again, as we've said, we're sitting here on our porch, and preparing and thinking about spring just being around the corner, I always love for you to share how folks can just get out and about, even when it's chilly, the importance of staying fit and utilizing Onslow Pines parks and the other parks that you all have. Tell us again about all of your locations.
Yeah, so we have 5 locations throughout the county. So wherever you live, you should be able to get to a local park. So starting at the other end of the county, we have Deppy Park, which is out on Highway 17, and then we have Hubert Bypass Park, which is out on Highway 24. And then you go to the other end, and we have, in the Dixon area, we have Stump Sound Park. And then in Richlands, we have Richland Steed Park. And then right in the hub in the middle, we have Onslow Pines Park. So all of our parks have walking trails, or if you don't want to go on the trail, there's still plenty of room in the park just to walk around the park. It's a perfect opportunity. Like I said, the weather here, it's so up and down. Like today, it's 60 degrees. So, it's beautiful to be able to go out and walk. So there's always the opportunity.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time and sitting on our front porch here at the airport for a little bit to share what you do. Let's give folks your main telephone number and the best way to find out about not just the programs we've talked today about, but all of the programs that you all offer.
Sure. You can give us a call at 910-347-5332 or visit the Onslow County website, and it's just you just go under Onslow County and find Parks and Recreation. Or we have a Facebook page, which is where we put all kinds of tidbits, tips and tricks, and post all of our programs.
Well, Anna Stanley, thank you so much. We look forward to visiting with you really soon next time.
All right, thank you.
Welcome back to Onslow County today, and you can see that we have been moving all around OAJ today, looking at all the awesome features that are here. And joining us now is Onslow County Public Library Director Virginia March to talk with us about this really cool kiosk. Virginia, welcome back to Onslow County today.
Thank you, Lisa.
Now, this really is a neat feature and offering for the passengers and travelers who are here at the airport. But I would love for you to talk to us about how it got here, what you all do here with how you bring the library to the airport, if you will, and then all of the features that it has, because this thing is fantastic. Talk with us about it.
Right. This was actually a vision of the previous director, Estelle Carter. She had read about this kiosk at another airport, actually the San Antonio airport, and she thought it was at the same time that the new OAJ terminal was being built, and she thought, what a great connection, because at the time and still currently there is no gift shop out here.
Right.
So there's no opportunity if someone's forgotten their reading material for their trip and here they are at the airport, what can they do? And she thought, what a wonderful opportunity to bring the airport, or to bring the library to the airport.
Right.
And so with that vision, she went ahead and applied for a grant. So we were, this was made possible with a grant from the State Library of North Carolina, along with the helps from our Jacksonville Friends of the Library.
Okay.
And we were able to work with the administration out here at the airport and the county administration and bring this fantastic kiosk here to the public.
Now, the first thing we want to talk about is that this isn't just for Onslow County Public Library library card holders, because oftentimes people are traveling to and fro, so perhaps they don't have that card. So this is for both library card holders and not. How does that work?
How it works is right now we've got them scrolling past. You can get an audio book or a regular digital ebook.
Okay.
And so we can just pick one, and it asks you, do you have a library card?
Okay.
Or do you want a 2-day pass? So with the 2-day pass, then you can check out to 3 items.
All right.
And it will then text it or email the link to you. So like I say, I have a library card, and this one unfortunately is not available right now. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. It says send me a link to get this title.
All right.
So I can then either have a text sent or an email. And we will have my phone number. And send text.
That's awesome.
And momentarily, it would appear on my phone, and then I can just click through, download the book to either my whatever device I'm using, because the books just aren't for e-reader or a Kindle. You can also use them on your phone, your computer, your laptop, so whatever you're using.
That is fantastic. So the first thing we can do is just check out a book.
Yes.
You're a library card holder, and there it is electronically, digital version for you. So what other features does it have then? So we've got the library. We have magazines available as well as books, or just books at this point?
Just books at this point.
Okay, just books at this point. Okay.
It has a photo booth. So this is a fun feature.
This is too cute.
Because we know we like to keep people
who are those guys?
informed of where we're going and what we're doing. So you can take a picture of your group. Take a picture.
Okay, we have to do this.
Okay.
All right, smile, guys. We're gonna, since we're gonna do vintage, we like that look of that. And then ready? 1, 2, 3. So awesome. That's
and then
fantastic.
We can email it or Facebook. Or if it didn't turn out quite so well, go ahead and take a retake.
You're going to have people just lined up. This is the neatest. I love this. Okay, so,
and then
photo booth, what's next?
These are all of our partners that we worked with to get this kiosk here at the at the airport. Then we have connection to the library webpage. So maybe you want to learn more about the library, your account, searching the catalog, using the digital resources, what's coming up. So here's one way to see it.
Very good.
Then we know you're here at the airport, but let's learn more about the airport, see what other flights are available, FAQs, whatever people need. And then maybe you're new to Onslow County, visiting somebody. Let's see what Onslow County has to offer, and this is going to be the tourism site.
Love this. This is fantastic. So we've got all of these options.
Right.
There's our tourism, what's going on right now.
Yep.
And only in Onslow. Yep. How fantastic. Everything. So you're here for the first time. Now, you know what, though? What a great feature if you're picking somebody up, you're waiting, and then you can come in and kind of get on the know that's going on. This is fantastic. All of these features, and then it's also a charging station.
Exactly, because we know sometimes we forget that charger. We get into the car, we get halfway here, we get all the way here, or it's packed in your luggage. What are you going to do? We've got all sorts of chargers here, so to hopefully it'll fit your device, your phone, and you'll have the opportunity to do that. So you can get ready to download that book and get on your plane.
This is fantastic. Now, this is not the only one of these kiosks that you all have. You also have one that kind of circulates through the county.
Yes, we have a smaller one, and we've had the opportunity to take that one to all of our branches. We've also had it at the Government Center, and we have also had it at Consolidated Human Services. Fantastic. So that's another opportunity to download material, also sign up for a library card. So currently it's at the main library if you want to check it out there, and I walk past it quite frequently and see people using that charging station, so it's a great resource.
This is, like you said, this is just a fantastic resource for our travelers, for folks who are picking up loved ones, and what a great resource to have here at our, I almost said at our library, but at our airport, bringing the library to the airport. Yes. Virginia, thank you for this, and thank you for you all making this so available to everyone. This is just everything we need to know about Onslow County in a box.
That's exactly. All right.
So, thank you, Virginia.
Thanks, Lisa.
As always, we want to thank you for joining us for Onslow County Today. And a very special thank you to OAJ for inviting us here today to see the impacts that they have on our economy. Of course, we want to thank all of our guests for being here today, and a very special thank you to you, our guests. We look forward to seeing you next time on Onslow County Today.